unbeatable, I'm
I am
unbeatable.
unbeatable. Couple minutes on the score. Every time they wanna clash, the wind is kicking through the door. I am unbeatable. Chances running out of stop, and we're running out the clock. I fail once, never stop. I am unbeatable. I am unbeatable. I am unbeatable, yeah. I am unbeatable. I am unbeatable, yeah. I am unbeatable. I am unbeatable, yeah. I am unbeatable. I am unbeatable, yeah.
Welcome to the British Basketball League YouTube channel. We have 2 games tonight. In just under 20 minutes, the newly crowned championship winners, London Lions, travel to 3rd place Caledonia Gladiators. But stay right here as the Newcastle Eagles host the Manchester Giants. The Eagles are soaring. They've won their last 3, but the Giants are crumbling. They've lost their last 10 in all competitions. Seeing whose streak will get broken is Dan Routledge and his good friend, Ant Rowe. Take it away, fellas.
Thank you very much, Todd. Yes, indeed. Welcome to Newcastle, where the Eagles can book themselves a spot in the playoffs tonight. Manchester running out of road as far as the playoffs are concerned. They're basically going to have to win all their remaining games and hope that's enough.
And then look, we're in the business end of the season now, and as you say, the end of the road, end of the games, whatever you want to target, Manchester Giants are going to have to make a push now.
Well, let's have a look at the starting 5s for today's game, starting with the Newcastle Eagles, and we're pretty familiar with this 5 right now. They're at full strength as well on the bench. The Newcastle Eagles rounding into form at the right time. Taj Green against his old team, of course, at the other end of the floor. Manchester, well, their bench is not quite as deep. They're without Evan Walsh tonight. So just 3 guys coming off the bench. A lot will rest on how well these starters can both score and keep out of foul trouble in this game. Well, I just mentioned Taj Green going up against his old club here tonight, Ant.
He's their 6'8" British Basketball League All-Star, strong averaging this year, 13 points, just under 8 rebounds a game, but he is playing against his former club, looking to have another big one. Last outing against the Giants, he had a big 23 points and 7 rebounds.
And at the other end of the floor, William Lee will be vital if the Giants are to get a win tonight.
Yes, he's had an interrupted season with injuries, but he's back playing impactful basketball. He has British Basketball All-Star worthy numbers, 13 points, 7.5 rebounds there. The 6'9" athletic forward can shoot the ball, and he's also going to be a good matchup for Taj Green. They're going to need him to put in a big performance this evening.
Well, Mark Stootle taking on Brian Simonian. Which one will come out on top? We'll find out right after this break.
Assisted by Nick Massey and Chris Cole, your officials. And your starting lineup for the 2 teams. The Manchester Giants, 00 Robertson, at 4 Lee, Anderson wears 8, Roger wears 24, and Lewis wears 93. And your starting lineup for the Serios Group Newcastle Eagles, wearing 0, Ricky McGill, at 1, Larry Austin Jr., at 11, JJ, 13, Darius Defoe, and coming out wearing 55, Taj Green. Your starting lineup for the 2 teams as we go inside the final minute before tip-off. The cameras are starting.
Well, the Geordies are in town. I'm sure they'll be in good voice getting behind their team tonight. This is a team with a proud history of winning trophies. They'll have their eyes on that playoff prize. But first of all, they've got to book their spot. That can come with a win tonight. Second of all, they'll want as high a seeding as possible to take into that playoffs as well.
Well, that's exactly it. They're in a wrestle at the moment with their long-standing rivals, the Leicester Riders. A win here would propel them above the Riders in third spot. So it's it's all to play for here for Newcastle. And on the home court, to prove again to their home fans that they are that top 3 team.
Well, their home record hasn't been as good as Mark Stoodle would have liked this season, it's fair to say. You mentioned Leicester. They would actually take Leicester into the playoffs as well if they win tonight. Both Leicester and Newcastle will officially punch their tickets if they are victorious tonight. Newcastle and Manchester obviously losing that game. Chris Dodds, Chris Cole and Nick Nassi are 3 officials for this game. But Eagles in league play, only 500 in this building, 6-6 in their 12 games in front of their home fans. So they'll want to finish the regular season strongly here. The ball is up and Taj Green against his former teammate wins the opening tip. Defoe trying to thread the needle. Borsier's in the way. Manchester with a steal. Borsier looking to push. Back to Lee. Into Robertson. Well, he had a lot of movement without moving, if that makes sense.
He did. I thought he was quite patient as well. He didn't force up straight away, but I think what that indecisiveness done for him was made that left-hand shot really difficult.
And he's normally a one dribble and rock the rim sort of guy, isn't he? But Newcastle get on the board first. Here's Lewis. Anderson, that pass a little high for him, and Austin will beat him down the court and run it back for 2.
Wow, the foot speed there. You got 2 of the fastest guys in the business there, and Larry Austin wins out on that foot race.
Anderson's still working his way back, I think, to 100%. Fully fit Anderson might have won that race.
No, I agree. Didn't look quite as sharp, did he, when the ball was in free space there.
Away by the Eagles. And Johnson's going to fire up the 3. He's halfway down the court. He knew that was him as soon as it left his hand.
Well, when you know, you know, and Jordan Johnson stepped into that one. He had all the time in the world down to shoot that one. Yeah, Jordan Johnson, one of the most prolific scorers there are in the league.
Won't be drawing that one up on defensive plays of the season, I think it's fair to say. Here's Anderson spinning baseline. Another turnover for the Giants. Could see a score. Oh, I was about to say, could see a timeout coming if they get a score here, but Defoe couldn't quite grasp that one in.
But I don't know whose fault it was as well. I usually blame the guard. Here's the shot before. Look at that. Jordan Johnson instantly turns around, doesn't even watch it go through the net. That's the most satisfying thing. At least watch it go through the net.
I don't know. There's something cool about running back as it goes through. I'd love to have known a shot was going in before it actually did. Even just once is Lewis. Anderson is Austin hits the deck. Offensive foul called against the Manchester player.
There's been a couple battles between those two now, and Larry Austin Jr. knocks another tally on his mark there.
Well, I said I thought a timeout might be coming. It has come 2 minutes in, and the Manchester Giants are yet to score, and that is a big, big problem. And probably the worst thing about it is they've only taken 2 shots in 2 minutes as well. They just keep turning the ball over, which isn't very helpful.
No, it's not. And look, if Manchester aren't scoring, you're in big trouble. And this might seem like a simplistic statement from me, but they are the worst defensive team in terms of points allowed. So they allow 92.4 points per game, making them the worst statistically defensive team this season. So, you know, if Manchester Giants aren't scoring the ball, they're not going to win a game.
Certainly needs something to work for them at the offensive end. Aligned to that is the other team shoot the three-point shot better against Manchester than anybody else, and that is a worrying concern when you see how easy the first one was there for Jordan Johnson.
No, agreed, Dan, and especially the way a lot of teams are playing this year in the league. It's that modern day basketball, shooting from the three-point line, and teams will thrive if they're not being guarded or at least ran off the line.
37.7% teams against Manchester from the three-point line this season.
Wow, everyone's having a good night.
Yeah, everybody loves it.
Mikey.
Austin getting into the key to a little turnaround. He's short. Lewis looking for options. Pass deflected by Defoe. Tipped it over the bar.
There's a couple fans there with their black and white striped jerseys.
Yeah.
So be accustomed to that description you just provided us, Dan.
Makes his way back to Boursier. Anderson from miles out for three. Doesn't go.
It wasn't far off though,
Yeah,
almost
it wasn't
dropped.
far off. Johnson into the key, back out again. Oh, an open lane, he dishes it off, still moving. Austin's going to have to fire the three. And the rebound grabbed by Anderson.
Good ball movement there, nothing by way of conversion.
Lee can't convert, and Roberton finally, 3 minutes in, gets Manchester on the board.
Wow, Manchester took a step off there. Good persistence from Roberton to put that one back.
In some ways, they're lucky to only be down 5.
Yeah,
The way they've started, Manchester.
Again, Ricky McGill, one of the most formidable scorers in the league. It's a relatively open corner three ball there. He doesn't convert, but Giants certainly going to have to adapt here.
McGill knocking that away. It'll be a Manchester ball from the side.
What an incredible season Ricky McGill's having.
Roberton inside, blocked by Green, and he's actually called for the foul. But yeah, Ricky McGill was named MVP of the regular season in the European North Basketball League. He's certainly been one of the front runners in the British Basketball League as well.
He's been outstanding, Dan. 18 points per game, and I think what I sort of overlooked too, looking at his numbers, you know, he's got 6 assists with that as well, and he's only behind LaQuincy Rideau in steals per game as well. So Ricky McGill doing a little bit of everything, contributing to this Newcastle Eagles team.
In some ways, I think his best performances have come on the road this season. It's slightly counterintuitive, but he has had some excellent games away from the Northeast.
Well, there's a correlation in that too. Their away record is better than their home.
Yeah. He's obviously got the 2 highest scores of the season for an individual, 37 points and 36 points in a game. Here's Johnson into the key. Austin on the offensive glass, as he so often is. And the pass is a little behind Defoe. They still have it, Newcastle. Austin's going to fire up the 3. And Lee with the rebound.
It was a quick 7 for Newcastle. They've been on 7 for quite some time now, and even that offense looked a little bit sticky, a little bit messy.
Well, Anderson strings the 3. It's a 1-point game. It's almost like Newcastle felt the first 2 minutes was so easy, and they've eased off a little bit and taking shots like that, ill-advised.
Yeah, agreed. And opportunity here for Manchester just to knock on the door and let their opponents know that they're here.
Well, Lee with the offensive rebound, and he's fouled by Defoe. And the Newcastle Eagles, who had the first 7 points of the game, are potentially going to go behind here with the next 8 going against them if Lee can make both these free throws.
Look at that length and wingspan from William Lee. doesn't even need to necessarily jump over the defense there to gather that rebound. It's his length and that quick jump off the floor there to be able to go and challenge for that offensive rebound.
Well, he misses the first. Right? Defoe was saving it with his hands earlier. He looked controlled with the knee there, pulled that one down. Is he Nick Pope or is he Bruno Guimaraes? I'm not quite sure.
Well, he's lived in Newcastle for long enough. Everyone's a football purist up there.
Yeah. Well, Lee ties the score at 7 points apiece. Green on his own down in the dunker spot, just tosses it in.
Nice touch there from Taj Green.
Lee down to Robertson, and this time he throws it down.
Great use of the pick and roll there. Nick Lewis did an excellent job of orchestrating that one. Good pass inside, and Taj Green didn't want to contest his former teammate as he went for that dunk shot.
Johnson beats the first man, not much help, but he can convert. Lewis to the fall away, tough shot. Does he get the bounce? Yes, he does. And having scored the first 7 points of the game, Newcastle Eagles, they trail Manchester by 2 here. Timeout call by Mark Stuttle. We'll take a break as well. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to Newcastle, where it started perfectly for Mark Stuttle and co. 7 points. Looked for all the world like they were going to dominate this game, and suddenly 6 minutes in, they're down 2. Green, top of the key again. A shot that it's not the easy look they were getting early on.
No, uncontested and quite clustered as well in there, hence why Taj Green settled for the long jump shot there.
Lewis into the key, stepping through, block from behind by Green. Came from the top to size him up and throw it out.
Yeah, great help from Taj Green to come across. I think Lewis should have shot that first one on the step through. I think Ward Hibbett was wrong-footed, but Taj Green comes over to save the day and swats that one out of bounds.
Almost jumped in by Lee. It will come off of a Newcastle player on the way out, so it'll be a Manchester possession.
Barron's getting some good looks inside. He's had a couple now in those danger areas inside the key.
driving in, away by Green. Austin in the open court, shovels it back to Green. Turnover by Newcastle. That's not a good pass either. They're giving it right back.
No, uncharacteristic error there from Jamal Anderson. And point guard Boucher needs to go and get the ball as well.
Deep three. Wow, Whitfield just let that one fly.
Devin Whitfield, a guy that can score the ball, hasn't really been able to fully express himself this year at times. In and out via injury.
Burton inside, going one way then the other and missing everything. Well, they're two Giants back. It's 5 on 3. They recover, but they absolutely lost Josh Ward-Hibbert. Lewis. Tipped in by William Lee.
And that's what's been positive for the Giants. Robertin, William Lee been able to crash the boards, get active. Nice putback.
Well, Todd mentioned at the top of the show about the 10 losses in a row for the Manchester Giants. Austin knew he was missing it, so he got his own rebound. And you would think playing a team like that, they might be low on confidence, and you want to land those knockout blows early, and Newcastle looked like a team that were going to do that, but they've kind of let Manchester back into this one.
Agreed, and you know that's been the story in a lot of the games here at the Virgin Motors Arena. Newcastle have been up, and they've been lost discipline. They haven't been able to have that killer instinct, which you need to have if you wanted to be a top team in this league.
Ward-Hibbert dancing his way down, but a 3-second violation on the post-up. I think he was in there from when Ward-Hibbert was way back at the halfway line. So here's another look at it. Ward-Hibbert is going one way then the other, but the whole time Green was in the key underneath, and once the ball came his way, the referee said that's too much time in the key.
Wow.
See a 3-second violation as much as you used to when I was a kid. Referees used to love the 3 seconds when I was younger. Nice move from Anderson. He'll get a chance at 3 points.
Nice play there from Jamal Anderson, and I think these games are important for him to re-establish himself. I can't remember a period of time where Jamal Anderson was out for more than a week or two, but hasn't played basketball in over a month. That's a nice, strong, confident move from Jamal Anderson.
Over 400 games into his British Basketball League career. As you say, one of the most durable players, one of the fittest players of his generation for sure. Here's Ward-Hibbert, and he strings the 3.
Speed, a high arcing shot from Josh Ward-Hibbert, which is deserving of a 3-point shot. Beautiful ball movement there from Newcastle Eagles, inside, outside, additional passes. Great play.
Anderson rocking and rolling, but losing the ball. Neighbour diving on the floor. That's going to be wrapped up, and the possession arrow will give it back to Manchester.
Manchester just hemorrhaging turnovers at the moment. 6th turnover already. We've still got 51 seconds left to play in the first quarter.
Well, their 6 turnovers have made Newcastle's 4 look not too bad. His Neighbour with the rebound. Just sagging off Ward-Hibbert. Well, having hit the bottom of the net with the first one, he missed everything with the second.
He cut the bottom of the baseline. A little bit off there. That was, I think, a relatively good contest there from Giants. It did enough there to put Josh Ward-Hibbert off his stride.
Lee with a slap across the wrists. He says he got the, Neighbour slapped across Lee's wrist. He says he got the ball. It's hard to tell on that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It could have went either way, that one.
must have been a little worried when he called that first time out. He's 7-0, and his team had only had 2 field goal attempts. Seemed to be giving the ball away for fun, but it's been a good response since then from his team.
Yeah, agreed. Could have been a disaster start. William Lee being one of those resilient players. 5.7 rebounds for him in this first quarter.
Rebounds, it's amazing. Inside 10 minutes, isn't it? It's Ward Hibbert. Delpesh forces it home.
Malcolm Delpesh, excellent play there.
Anderson's going to fire up the 3 on the buzzer, and that will do it. For a funny old first quarter, looked like Newcastle might run away. Manchester came back, and I think both coaches will be looking for improvements in the second 10 minutes. We'll have that right after this break.
Steady, let's go! Giorgio down with the racing first. Who's going to get the first basket? Looks good in the air. Little rebound, different shot over the top. Still neck and neck. Bounces round. Still hits the iron. Back. Oh, still the one side. No, we're going tight ball game. Anyone's game at the moment. Around, we got plenty iron. Make some noise, the Eagles. Right down. We're going to call this one a tie ball game. Reset for 10 minutes as we head towards the start of P2 and heading for the half-time break, where of course you've got time to visit the merchandise.
Welcome back to Newcastle. I'm sure Coach Simonian talked about taking care of the ball in that first quarter. 8 of Newcastle's 19 points have come from Manchester turnovers.
Wow. It's a thing, you know, you've got to limit those errors, of course, but when you're playing a team like Newcastle on their home court, you've got to be that little bit more focused in those unforced errors.
Neighbor with the mid-range, another one of the Eagles working his way back to fitness after his knee issue.
He's such a unique player, and that was at Cheshire Phoenix last year. He's a 6'10" shooter, spreads the floor very well. Have to guard him.
Harris down the lane. Shot goes up off the mark, and that will go out of bounds for a Manchester possession.
That's one of the positives so far for Giants. They have been able to crash the boards. 5 offensive rebounds for them, and on that occasion, they don't get the offensive rebound, but what they do is make Newcastle have to react a little bit more frantic.
Stampley gets it away in time, but can't hit the 3. Delpesh running the floor, blows the layup.
Delpesh had a good enough look there around the rim, and his first basket today was a lot more high difficulty than that. Wasn't able to finish that one in the open floor.
Jones knocked away from him by McGill, who was trying to convince the referee that was an Eagles ball, but the point was the opposite way.
You've got to be aware of where he is. Those 2.3 steals per game. certainly worthy enough to respect where he is at all time on the defensive end.
Foul on the floor. Go against Delpesh.
Foul call. Hand check on court level. We go to the end-line ball. Jones inbound for the visitors. Defense.
It's a tough place to catch the ball there. They're slightly fortunate that Neighbour had a foot on the line, so it'll go back to Manchester. But it wasn't a really good inbound pass.
It was the only option he had, though, Dan.
Yeah.
You run the risk of throwing it across, and there's another turnover there waiting, so just have to get the ball inbound.
Trying to force a pass there as well. Out to Neighbour, deep one for three. It's good.
It's instant offense from Will Neighbour. Credit to him, who's someone who's only just now being incorporated back into the rotation. Only a game or two under his belt.
Neighbour call for the bump foul, and he certainly made a contribution, as you said, Ant, with his offense off the bench. 5 points off 2 shots.
Not a bad return whatsoever, but unfortunately for him, he's got 2 fouls down the other end of the floor, and look at that, 13-0 on bench points.
Well, I think we'll have to get used to that, given the paucity of options that Manchester have off the bench today. Just 3 guys available to them, and those 3 guys aren't exactly the biggest scorers across the course of the season. Whitfield in the corner, 3 rattles about, drops in.
Nice play there, penetration from Jordan Johnson, and Whitfield was locked and loaded and ready to shoot from the corner.
Lee rearranged that one. Tough shot from William Lee.
That's so difficult. The hang time and focus to be able to hold that off.
Callum Jones with the foul. McGill saying I was on the way up. Referee saying on the floor.
Good drive baseline, and I think Callum Jones just got him before he picked the ball up. Good call from Ian McDonald on the baseline.
Well, Newcastle scoring the first 8 points of this quarter. Manchester replying as Johnson piles on the pain. You feel like Newcastle have just stepped it up here in the second quarter.
Yeah, and you know, you can't go under that screen on Jordan Johnson, and he's got all the time in the world to get that one off.
6 of 14 now from the Eagles from behind the arc. These are dangerous moments for the Manchester Giants. Delpesh catches the lob. Great pass from Johnson, and finish with emphatic style.
It's a beautiful pass, and Jordan Johnson that gets right in the pocket, attracts 3 defenders, throws the ball up in the area. Perfect for Delpesh to sky above William Lee for the jam.
Well, through the contact, he'll have a free throw coming in a minute's time, though, because first of all, Coach Simonian with a timeout, and you can understand why. That 13 of the first 15 points have gone against his team. And Newcastle have suddenly got some rhythm offensively in this game, and Manchester, who were matching them, but neither team were in a flow in the first quarter. Now that Newcastle or Manchester have to respond.
Yeah, and this is where you see the difference in standards and levels, especially from an execution perspective. You know, Giants still look so uncertain on offense. 7 turnovers now for them. They haven't really found any consistent avenue for offense. This quarter at the moment, 13-2, and points from turnover down just night and day. 14-2 landslide.
Well, 7 turnovers is terrible, but 14 points off those turnovers is unbelievably bad. You're basically letting them score every time you give the ball away. It's not conducive to winning. Well, this is obviously a tricky game for the Newcastle Eagles because of where it sits. The reality is they obviously played their playoff game in midweek against Barkham Bears, which they lost here by 5 points, and then they go to Aarhus on Wednesday for the return leg. It's an aggregate tie, so that they have to win by 6 to get through that. And you know, you'd be some player to not be thinking about that game when you're playing a team who's outside of the playoff places, and you're thinking, well, I want to be fit for the big game on Wednesday.
Yes and no. I mean, it's one of those ones. I mean, if you're a player and you can say, oh, great, Ricky McGill in the corner, nothing but net, another 3 for the Newcastle Eagles. But I think if you're a player that worries about injury, you're never going to fulfill your potential. You're going to have that. You have to have that sort of optimistic mentality, and use this as just a tune-up for the challenge on midweek for the European competition.
Well, they're certainly using it well at the minute, aren't they? This second quarter, 10 points in a row. They've scored 18-2 here in 4 minutes of the second quarter. And Manchester aren't going to add to it shooting like that. Here's Lee with the mid-range, and that one you knew was going in.
Yes, too much time and space there for William Lee, and 9 points personal now for him.
Well, Coach Stufel is asking if that's a goaltend or not, and the referees are going to just talk that over as to there was a foul called. It's just whether there was a goaltend as well. Does it hit the backboard? Oh, it's very close. It's bang, bang. The referees have given it, so it will be an and one opportunity.
I think that was the right call.
It was close. It was very close.
Scott Spencer flies into the action.
Great to see Coach Stutel's hydrated.
Yeah, he's short bursts.
That's it.
Okay, the bonus free throw comes out, but Newcastle well on top here. Nice cut along the baseline from Lewis, and he's found by Boursier.
Yeah, need a little bit more of that. Boursier can create for his teammates. He's going to have to figure out a way to be a little bit more aggressive on the penetration.
Well, there's somebody who's aggressive on the penetration, Ricky McGill.
Excellent, just excellent. Doesn't faze him that he's surrounded by defenders. Just takes it straight at the defense and finishes.
Boursier off the mark for 3. Spencer with the rebound. Whitfield thought about the triple stamp. They got there to dissuade him. Oh, nice pass. Somebody's got to make a shot at the end of this, and they get the 3. Beautiful play from the Eagles.
Well, the Eagles look like they're having fun out there, which is even bigger concern now for the Giants, because if the Eagles are having fun, they'll put points on the board in a hurry.
Well, a rare 3-pointer at the other end, just Manchester's second.
Look how quickly they inbound the ball, and they're already down the other end of the floor in a matter of moments.
Well, a foul is called. 4:42 to go here in the second quarter. Newcastle Eagles leading this one by 44 points to 26. Well on top. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Well, his team weren't shooting the ball very well in the first quarter, but they've certainly picked it up here in the second. 56% from the floor. Overall, they've got 25 points on the board in this quarter alone. And looking for 3 more is Spencer up top, but it doesn't drop. Bertie spins into Defoe, and he's like, I've got the ball, ref, look, here's the ball. No dice there, and a foul is called.
Always has that innocent play, doesn't he? Darius Defoe. Let's have a look. See, Roberta's trying to spin baseline, excuse me, and then. Strong case there.
Well, he's got over 600 games under his belt, Darius Defoe. He's at the top end of most of the categories in British Basketball League history, but I think he's committed about 7 or 8 fouls during his 20-year career that he's owned up to.
Well, I speak from experience, and I'm going to out him. He fouls a lot. He fouls a lot.
They're not all in the book, Ants.
No, they're not, but, you know, look, can't fold it. What a absolute incredible competitor he's been over the years, and his 24 pieces of
27,
excuse me, pieces of British Basketball League silverware. It just goes to show how good he was at competing.
Is Johnson short on the shot? Inside to Robertson again. His shot is, his hook is off the mark. They just keep piling on the paint here, the Newcastle Eagles.
Just the ease as well that Jordan Johnson's able to get into the heart of the defense there in the key. Well, he's the smallest player on the court, but he's one of the biggest scorers. He shoots that over 7'1", legend Robertson.
Nearly a backcourt, 12 points for Johnson already. A lot of room for Lewis for 3, and he makes them pay.
Well, he's the type of guy that will not be fazed by any occasion. That's way too much space for him.
Tipped away by Boursier via sideline ball. Well, the one thing you would say here, Newcastle look very comfortable, led by as many as 21. At 15, this is a little spell in the game. 3 minutes to go, it can go out to 20-something. It can get back to 9.
Agreed.
And that's the thing that Manchester have to try and do here. Just cut the deficit a little bit. They don't have to get it all back. Just get some momentum.
That's it.
Nice work from Johnson to keep it in play. Oh, and a lovely tip as well. Great play from the Eagles all round there.
Austin still got the ball. He has
Yeah.
that thing about him where he's got the ability to just keep control.
The points at the end of it. Well, between Austin Spencer and Johnson, they were excellent there. Lewis for another one, off the mark. Lee grabs it. Lee has double figures in both points and rebounds now on that one play. And he's been effective for them in the first half. And Mark Stuttel wanting to call a timeout here with 2:28 to go. And I think he's thinking the same thing I was just voicing a moment or two ago. 2:28 to go. We can +8 or we can -8 in 2:28. We want to +8, make it 20 and put this beyond Manchester.
That's it. And complacency can be the biggest Achilles heel here for the Newcastle Eagles, while belief can be the strongest motivator here for the Manchester Giants, who have figured out a way to claw themselves back into this game, led by William Lee, who's got a half-time double-double.
Strudel just making sure that his team finish this quarter out right. And, well, if they were up 20 at half-time, you wouldn't begrudge them of that, the way they played in this second quarter. William Lee, the main point of resistance, with a double-double, 11 and 10 before half-time.
Just incredible. His ability to impact the game as well. I mean, look, he's got all-star numbers this year as well, and averaging 13 points, 7.5 rebounds a game. So he's a player that's been there and done it as well. Remember, with the Leicester Riders, he's a player that's won silverware in this league.
All-Star game next weekend, of course. So it sounds like you've mentioned it a couple of times now. It sounds like you're feeling a bit of snubbage there for William Lee.
I am, yes. Really happy for my former teammate Joe Anderson. So this is not a play on that account, but of course only one player from a team can go through on the coach's vote. Very difficult decision.
Tickets available still for the All-Star game. You can scan the QR code and make sure you're there. Jamel Anderson will be there. But well, if I make you omnipotent, you can throw somebody off and put somebody off. It doesn't have to be Jamel. I'll let you pick anybody if you want. If you're having William Lee on, them's the rules. If somebody's getting snubbed, then you have to take somebody out.
Well, it's certainly not this guy. Jamel Anderson has had a superb season this year for the Manchester Giants. 15 points per game, a career average high for him as well for his whole time in the British Basketball League. So no, I'm really happy and proud of my old friend for making that cut.
Here's Ricky McGill running back the other way. Of course, Newcastle have a plethora of All-Stars. You could have thrown one of their players off if you wanted to, and I gave you free rein on that.
I'm certainly not throwing off Ricky McGill, who's been unbelievable.
That's going to be an unsportsmanlike on Lewis. Not enough of a play at the ball there. A bit of a grab at the arm in the view of the officials, and maybe a little hard. So there will be no lineup.
I always like that, you know, when you're gathering yourself and you take it to the rim and you feel that contact. I always just enjoyed that, the ability to be able to get an and one. That was the only way I was going to get a three-point play down, so I had to try and make it work.
Oh, when you started out, it would never have been an unsportsmanlike.
No, it would not. No.
Very modern interpretation of all that. When I started out playing, you'd have got benched if you didn't foul him like that. Newcastle Eagles hit their first free throws of the ball game. Spencer sits down. Well, that pass is not great. Delpech was asked a lot of. Robertson outrunning the break, and the big man throws it down.
Yeah, it was a possible pass, wasn't it? It was sandwiched in between two Manchester Giants. Nice play there. Morsier to get the ball out quickly to get it to Robertson in the open floor.
Ward Hibbett underneath, looking for room. Pinballs it back to himself. McGill for three. Back iron. Delpech with the offensive board. Austin, look at all the space. It could have gone left or right there.
So many gaps there in that defense.
Well, the Manchester Giants have 35 points on the board. The Newcastle Eagles have 35 points in this quarter. And that is the problem.
Jamel Anderson was grabbed on that last play. Wasn't happy.
I'm going to run a little bit of clock this. Now the Eagles to try and get closer to half-time. McGill at the free throw line. Bounces out to Anderson. Stolen away by Austin, kept it in play. McGill lobs it up to Green. And there's some all-star action for you.
Wow, perfectly timed pass, and Taj Green flying through the air for the jam.
Well, the delay again meant the clock stopped there, which was helpful for Manchester, because it might get them one more score. No, it won't. And that will do it for the first half. Well, it was tight early on, but Newcastle scored as many points in the last 10 minutes as Manchester did in the whole 20. And Mark Stootle's team well in control. Ant and I will break it all down right after this break.
For the Hard Rock Cafe, Chocoduck at the end of P3. For your hard-time entertainment on the main court, we have Hoops for Health final going underway very shortly.
Do they? Right. Do they get shortage of drivers or something? Or is it like when the day becomes the night shift, the evening shift? Twilight. Whatever it is. Alright. There's nothing to do that when they get the new ones. Although they've been delayed, haven't they?
But 2028 now.
Are they? No. Next year, though, is it? Or is it back into this year? Next
As we
year?
get ready for the South Tyneside Hoops for Health final here at the Trimoz Arena. Forest View Primary, Stanhope Primary, getting ready to go for who will be crowned South Tyneside Hoops for Health champions 2024.
And then they were going to, it will all be delivered on
14 teams started this journey on Thursday the 15th of February here at the arena. 4 teams made tonight.
Welcome back to our coverage of the British Basketball League here. Newcastle Eagles well on top that second quarter. They absolutely dominated Manchester.
They did, and it looked like 2 different classes out there. And you know what's interesting for the Newcastle Eagles as well, they've had 10 players step up on court. Everyone's on the score sheet. That is equated to 27 points from the bench as opposed to 3 from Manchester. Huge difference.
Well, Manchester only have 35 points on the board, never mind 27 off the bench. Let's have a look at the numbers, and you can easily see why. They've made more, and they've made them at a higher clip as well, and the 11 turnovers haven't helped Manchester either.
No, they haven't. Those errors have been compounded by the Manchester Giants, and a team like the Newcastle Eagles too, they've got a point guard like Jordan Johnson that will crucify you if you turn the ball over. Saving grace for the Giants have been the rebounds. They're winning the battle of the boards. They've got some good second chance opportunities there in 8 points, but it's not been enough down there. They're still miles behind in terms of competing against the Eagles.
18 points off those 11 turnovers is way too high as well. Let's have a look at the story of the first half. And to be honest with you, we saw shades of what was coming in the early stages when Newcastle scored the first 7 points, and we were worried for Manchester there, but they were able to respond in the first quarter.
Yeah, I was worried for them early, and now I'm worried for them again at half-time. They had a little resilience there in the first quarter, and they showed us that they're a team who can compete, and this is plays like this, the penetration from Nick Lewis on the baseline, and Jamal Anderson will hit that open shot all day, and some joy inside too. Nick Lewis again, the distributor, and this time it's Legend Roberton with a dunk.
And the problem you would say from Manchester was they were giving up good looks to Newcastle Eagles. Eagles weren't necessarily making them all in the first quarter, and then in the second quarter they started going in.
Look, Dan, you hit the nail on the head. There's a reason why opposing teams shoot so well against the Giants, because they're losing their assignments. Look at this, Will Neighbour. That's what he's hired to do. He's hired to shoot threes, and all the time in the world he has to shoot that one. Devin Whitfield, it's perfect from the floor. 4 for 4, 11 points in 10 minutes of play. What an efficient half he's had.
And the guards just picking them apart as well. I mean, we've seen Johnson scoring. We've also seen him providing as well there.
Yeah, he's the type of point guard that can do it all. Look at this. You can see he's having fun behind the back. Extra pass from Ricky McGill, and Whitfield hits another one.
Well, they got into the All-Star highlights at the end, didn't they? McGill to Green for the alley-oop. It's a lot of work for the Manchester Giants to try and do in the second half. That's coming up in a short while. But first of all, we're going to have a look at the top 10 plays from last week, and that's after Sheffield against Surrey from last night. Well, that's one way. Just get a talent move to the hole for 2 from Idle Rock. A lot of space in the corner for Mohammed for 3, and he knocks it down. Abdul Mohammed.
Oh, Green lost him in the offense. He was wide open.
Idle Rock attacking. Cook with the offensive rebound. Finds a little room and drops it in for 2. Bonus coming. Steele. A little hesitation, gets to the basket, and he might get 3 the old-fashioned way as he takes the foul and the points. Up top to Pipkins. Nice drive to the basket from Jalen Pipkins.
Sensational drive and hanging in the air to finish.
Ramsey needs to get it up now, gets it to Cook. Bobbles out for him, but tipped up in the air, and that will go for the Sheffield Sharks. And lobbing it to Cook, nice pass.
Perfect pass.
Pipkins for 3, got to find the shooters out of his zone. Nichols, nice pass, rolling to the basket for the two-handed jam. Nice, that's a tough finish there as Pipkins picks himself up off the floor. Pipkins gets a good look, and he knocks down another triple. Wang pushing, has men in the corner. Drop back to Oberquella, good pass from Lawrence.
Really good, good transition. Probably their easiest bucket this evening.
Well, forced home by Idle Rock. Putting the ball on the floor, pump fake gets his man in the air. Tough shot, RJ Idle Rock. Shot clock needs to go up. Green beats the buzzer and drops it in for 2. Well, a landmark day for Atiba Lions, his 500th championship game as the head coach of the Sheffield Sharks. Back iron on that one. White gets the long rebound. Rye driving to the rim, and he jams it down, and it's a 13-0 start by the Knicks.
Lucas gonna go all the way, and Saquon Jameson had him right in his eye line. Once that ball went up, swatted him like a fly.
Retain possession. Another 3-ball on the way for Green. He banks it in. Incredible.
He's still in that rhythm from the last game at 31 points.
far down the lane for the two-handed throwdown.
So look at this, Grantham leading the show here. Nice little bounce pass and wow.
Holmes loses the handle. Nwaba has Morgan ahead. Morgan will run it in for the layup, and London have their first lead of the game.
Oh, beautiful. David Nwaba to Matt Morgan.
Oh, what a pass that is from Jordan Taylor on the floor. Finds Connor Morgan in the corner for three.
Jordan Taylor just falling down, finds a way to still hit the pass on the money.
Oh, up top. There we go, baby. Alley-oop. Jameson throwing it up for Wang, and there's the jam, and there's the timeout call for Bristol.
Back to Lee, fakes the three, drives inside, nice pass to Anderson, round the back to Legend Robertin, who throws it down with two hands.
Great job right there by Anderson to be able to gather that pass.
Oh, he's up on the shot clock buzzer. What a shot from Joe Hart.
Hello, 1 foot. Why not Joe Hart? He's been shooting the ball well as of late.
Wow.
Pipkins has a lane to the basket and flushes it down. Jalen Pipkins, what a jam!
That is the complete opposite to what Aaron Roy just did. His is direct, his is above the rim. What a finish there from Jalen Pipkins.
Welcome back to Newcastle, where the Eagles are against the Manchester Giants here. And feeling pretty good about themselves coming off the back of a big first half. Here's the results so far in the British Basketball League. Sheffield winning on Thursday night against Surrey Scorchers 71-62, kind of ground that one out. Newcastle well on top here. It's a tight game at halftime in East Kilbride, where Caledonia lead London by a basket. 5 o'clock tomorrow night on a Saturday for Cheshire Phoenix. They're taking on the Plymouth City Patriots, and then we have a doubleheader on Sunday, 2 p.m. The Bristol Flyers taking on the Leicester Riders, and Caledonia back at home on Sunday at 5 p.m. taking on the Newcastle Eagles. It's always tasty when those two teams go head-to-head. And Jordan Johnson and co. with a 37-point second quarter. That's the second time this season they've scored 37 points in a quarter. Did that against Cheshire in December. They haven't scored more than that since 2022. They were certainly feeling it in the last 10 minutes before halftime. Can they sustain that coming out here in the second half?
Well, they've got the firepower to do it, Dan. It wouldn't surprise me if they've got over 100 points here this evening, but it'll be interesting to see how Manchester Giants react. They had a pretty tough first 20 minutes there. They did show signs there of fight and competitive nature, but they're going to have to do a lot more here in the second half to dig themselves out of this 21-point deficit.
Burton inside, Austin with the foul, but he can't finish. Well, you poo-pooed my idea of players having an eye on Wednesday in that second leg, but surely the coaching staff might. I'm sure Coach Stoodle, if his team could really put this away in the third quarter, might be looking to save some legs in the fourth.
Yeah, that's where the manipulation by design is with the coaches. Players were all like puppets, right?
Yeah,
we just beat to their drum, and but no, yeah, I think Stoodle will have one eye on that, but so far he's got to be feeling pretty good about what he's seen. You know, starting five produced, his bench is all produced as well in terms of contributions scoring wise. So some of those players to remember, they haven't got a lot of minutes under their belt coming back from injuries or in and out of lineup. So be for him now to give those players the floor to be able to increase on their own individual confidences.
They've got to get to that margin first and give the coach the opportunity to make those sorts of decisions. Here's Defoe trying to do exactly that. I'm sure Touch Green, will he get the points for that? Did he tip it or did that go off Robertson?
Well, he was the closest there and he's certainly claiming it, I think.
Darius Defoe is the captain. An own basket would go to the captain, but I think they will give that to Todd Green. Here's Anderson for three, in and out. Anderson will try that again. Not this time either. Lewis. Stampley lets it fly. That's halfway down and back out again.
Goodness me, three relatively good looks there and none of them dropped.
Relatively good pass because Lewis comes away with it. He's going to try the three and he does get the three.
Nicholas Lewis takes matters into his own hands, says, I'll do this myself, pulls up in a matter of seconds and knocks it down with ease.
Well, it's only 4 points that have been scored in this quarter, 3 of them on this one shot, but Coach Stoodle obviously didn't like the look of this opening few minutes and just wants to talk it over.
The biggest risk to Newcastle at the moment is their complacency and lack of focus, and you can see there by Coach Stoodle's animation that his team haven't come out into this half focused. Look, a minute and 25 seconds is gone, but it's really difficult sometimes as a player when the jeopardy is gone, when the fear of losing is gone. You can sort of slip into that, complacent nature, and you can just see by the way that Coach Stoodle is in that timeout. He's trying to energize his guys, fire them up again.
Well, you were talking about players sort of going out to the beat of drum and being the puppet sort of thing. They're also used to when things are supposed to happen, and timeouts after 90 seconds are not supposed to happen. So that sends a message even before he even starts talking.
Yeah, agreed. You know it too. I've been there many a times where you've had a slow start or a bad start. The timeout's called and you walk like you walk into detention.
Yeah.
You just sit there and you have to absorb and take whatever assault is about to come from the coach.
It's only 4-2 in the quarter, so it's not like Manchester have run away with it, but it's the intent that Newcastle have shown. That won't help. Turnover. Anderson for 3, short. Lewis to the fall away, that's good.
He looks comfortable, doesn't he?
Yeah, he
Nicholas
does
Lewis.
look comfortable.
I think the offense for the Giants has wavered in and out in this game, but Nicholas Lewis is a guy that can create for himself, and he's never shy to shoot the ball.
Well, they backed away from Green. He misses the shot, gets his own rebound, and I was about to say we'll get a chance for 3, but he'll have to shoot 2 free throws as it comes back off the iron.
Good activity there for Taj Green. Interesting lineup for Giants at the moment, just because William Lee had such a dominant first half. He's not out on the floor at the moment. Maybe questions there of his health.
Green gets the friendly roll. He's right down the end of the bench.
I mean, look at that. It's a bench that you'd be happy with if it was an aeroplane, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you'd be able to lie down.
Seat, space. Wonder if those recline.
Well, the Eagles could have sold a few more tickets there, couldn't they?
It's a strategy for the coach. Let's spread out so we look like we've got a big bench than we actually have.
Pretend we're filling it. Yeah, it is a challenge for them, obviously. Evan Walsh, the most notable absentee. When we talk about points off the bench, he's certainly been the leader in that category for the Manchester Giants this season.
Yeah, he brings a whole different dynamic, doesn't he? And good take there from legend Robertin, who's done a really good job of getting to the free throw line. He's I'd say a natural free throw shooter, but he's 4 for 6 today, which means he's been aggressive. He's took the ball to the rim. 10 points personal for legend Robertin.
Done a good service there, saying natural free throw shooter for a guy who's shooting 9 for 34. I think. 9 for 33 coming into this game.
27%.
Yeah.
Wow.
Obviously, he's done well, actually, not to get in foul trouble as well, because Lawton is obviously serving the second of his 2-game suspension. So they would be super thin at the big man position. I mean, they would end up having to play either sort of Lee or Anderson at the 5. Maybe Stampley could fill in there if he, but actually done well not to get into foul trouble.
No, he's done excellent. And Lawton's another miss for them, as well as Evan Walsh. I think those 2 players add another dynamic to this Giants team.
Young Matthew Goodwin also not available today.
And that's a shame, because a player like that can...
You'd like to see a few minutes here for him, wouldn't you?
Yeah, opportunity for him to show out.
Big things expected of that young man going forward. Here's Austin running the other way through the contact, and he'll get a bonus free throw. Larry Austin doing what he does, stealing possession away and turning it into points.
We've seen him, haven't we, years after year of being so good at that. Jamal Anderson wasn't really ready. Maybe the point guard in Boucher passed that ball a little bit too early. Whoever was at fault, Larry Austin Jr. was there to punish them.
Well, 10 steals for the Newcastle Eagles and 20 points from turnovers. Not quite 21 though. throws it into Robertson. A slap down from Defoe. And we'll go to the line again. He's been there a lot today.
He has, yeah. He's been a focal point in this offense. Good pass inside from the point guard. It's Darius Defoe again slapping down. But it's a good foul. You know, you'd rather have that and make Robertson shoot 2 free throws where he's not overly comfortable than him slam the ball down and rock the whole gym with his dunk.
Yeah, but think of the people who have to put the top 10 plays of the week together, Hans. They're not clipping up free throws in the plays of the week.
No, they're not. Last week, Dan, the game we did where Sam Decker made the referee fall.
Yeah,
I wish that made the top 10 plays.
Breaking the ankles of poor Rob Hickman.
Rob Hickman did so well.
He got up and made the call.
Incredible how he just bounced back up and he sort of didn't lose a stride. He just kept running. It was phenomenal. A top 10 wherever he played.
Well, he got up quicker than most players do in that situation. McGill for 3, knocks it down. Ricky McGill has himself into double figures to go with his 5 assists.
Incredible, Ricky McGill. And even games like this too, he's been quite patient, isn't he? He hasn't forced the issue, and here he is, another steal.
And he's trying to run it back for 2 more points from turnovers. He'll get a chance from the free throw line.
Just such a complete player, and he's done so much for this Newcastle Eagles team this year in his points production. 18 points, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, and 6 assists as well. He's someone who's really had a strong season, you know, MVP caliber numbers there. He's certainly a player that his name should be in that conversation.
Well, he was very close to the MVP discussion in his first season in the British Basketball League with Plymouth. I think his teammates were a little disappointed, I think is the polite way of putting it, that he didn't claim the honours. Probably just he started the season a little slowly and maybe that hurt his campaign, but he certainly finished like a train.
We started this season slow.
We did, yeah, he did a little bit.
And we talked all about it, didn't we? Austin, Jordan Johnson, you know, and Ricky McGill. Who was going to be the guy?
There's McGill again, adding to his steals tally, throwing it down court. Done well there to keep the ball alive, Newcastle. Not the cleanest play, but will they get points at the end? Of course they will, as Whitfield makes it 5 of 5 from the floor for 14 points.
Great effort there from the Eagles, and a selfless extra pass there from Ricky McGill. Devin Whitfield just on a tear today.
Lewis misses, and Whitfield hits the deck as he grabs the rebound. Anderson just helping Ricky McGill into the boards there. A little discussion about it as well. Newcastle Eagles well on top here, leading this one 68 points to 44. There's 4:55 to go here in the quarter. We'll take a break. We'll be back after this.
Basketball League, so a player who is game translated across borders.
Well, that's an awkward place to catch the ball. It's stolen away eventually by Jones, who gives it to Lewis, who can convert. Defoe gets it back. Ward Hibbert, short on the corner three.
Defense.
Lewis, round to Anderson. Defoe gets a little hand to deflect that away. Manchester still have it. Got to go up though. Just beats the buzzer there, Stampley.
He's done really well there. Good use of his body to be able to squeeze that shot off just before the shot clock expired.
Well, Whitfield's going to let it fly again, and why not? He's now 6 of 6 from the floor, 5 of 5 from behind the arc, 17 points.
Wow, when you're feeling it, hold that trigger. Whitfield, look, effortless.
Lewis, that's a tough one. Oh, that's a very Nicholas Lewis shot, isn't it?
How many times have you seen Lewis? Yeah. That's a tough one. Yeah. Great use there of the side dribble.
That's come off McGill and goes back to Manchester.
Whitfield just having one of those games, and Newcastle have been so unfortunate with injuries this year. I mean, Devon Whitfield, a guy who scored the basket, or 18 points, almost 19 points a game in the Denmark League, and he's a player that's always he played NCAA Division II, 18 points a game there as well at Lincoln Memorial University. A player who scored wherever he's went.
Back in the action.
119 is his best in the British Basketball League to this point. He had that against Plymouth in November. As you say, he's not played as many games as he would have liked, but he could go past that here tonight. One more shot, probably, the way he's been going. Here he is, put it up. No, he puts it on the floor instead, and on to Johnson. Neighbour the corner three, and that's good.
Really good basketball, and that extra pass really coming into full effect here for this Eagles team.
Lewis pulls the arm, gets his arm pulled, so he will go to the free throw line.
Let's see some arms waving behind the basket. And the rest of us, we know what to do. Loud and proud, let's make some noise.
First trip to the free throw line today for Lewis. He's got 15 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists so far.
Let's be prouder. Make some noise.
It's just a player who's been able to adapt each year and still be an effective player in this league. All the way back to those Sheffield Sharks days where he was a consistent feature. Someone we used to always have to prepare for when we played him. Always like the big shot, the big moment.
Did he not hit a big shot in a playoff game against you, I seem to remember?
He did.
Loughborough?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Did it send it to overtime, was it? Or was that the game winner?
Yeah, that was the game winner in overtime. Put back.
They were the 6th seed, if memory serves.
Sometimes I wish your memory wasn't so good, Dan.
Sorry, I was a bit hazy with it as well. I was actually trying to remember if I'd got that right or not. Sorry about that. To bring
I wish you're wrong, Dan, but unfortunately you're right.
Ward Hibbert hooks it out to Neighbour. Turns down the three, puts it on the floor instead. Jones on his back, and Jones commits the foul rather than allow him to get to the basket. they're over the limit, so it'll be 2 free throws anyway.
Spencer flies back in for your Eagles.
This is great for Will Neighbour just to get some repetitions in. As you see Callum Jones trying to get that steal there around the body. Deemed way too much contact. Callum Jones, another one. Lots of games on under his belt as well. 38 years old now, Callum Jones.
Giants all-time leading scorer, of course. Doesn't quite put the ball in the basket as regularly as he once did, but doesn't quite put the ball in the basket as regularly as his dad once did for the Manchester Giants back in the 70s and 80s. Jeff was an incredible scorer. It's one thing to have one child go on to play top-level basketball. He had 3.
Yep.
James, of course, an excellent player in the British Basketball League with the Tigers and others, and Georgia, of course, with Leicester and Manchester in the Women's British Basketball League. Neighbour had a long time to think about that free throw and left it short. Stampley back to Lewis. Lewis bullying his way to the basket and throwing it in off the glass. So he's the one point of resistance right now for the Manchester Giants.
Yeah, he's done really well there. He's used his body, went straight at the defender. But they're going to need more to support him in his offensive production if Giants are able to make a run at this game going into the 4th.
Neighbour in toward Hibbert, and I think Jones might have been pinged for another one there, just reaching round. So that'll be 2 more free throws.
Well, credit to Manchester. I mean, they're competing. I mean, their leading guy in the first half, William Lee, who had a double-double, 11 points, 11 rebounds, 11 points, 11 rebounds, and he's been on the bench the whole time in this second half, so question marks over his health. Or maybe it's a preservation thing, maybe from Coach Simeon, who perhaps feels this game is out of reach.
Well, tough day at the office. Josh Ward-Hibbert adds to the Newcastle lead. 71-56, minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. Eagles looking comfortable in this British Basketball League game in between their 2 aggregate playoff games in the ENBL. And this feels like the sort of game that they'd be more than happy with. Well, continuing to get resistance like that, but building to that game on Wednesday, you've seen good performances from McGill and from Johnson. Obviously, incredible shooting from Whitfield off the bench. All of the bench have contributed.
It's not always comparable, Dan, but it was a good finish there from Jamal Anderson, who goes straight at the defense. He was able to adjust there and finish with his right hand. He's done really well there. This left-hand dribble attacks Spencer and finishes across the body there with a right hand off the glass. Nice play. But back to the original point there. Maybe not is exact comparable, but we saw London do that last week, didn't we? They had a very low pressure, easy run out against Leicester Riders, which contributed to a lot of the players there, got good court time, distribution of minutes. good production offensively, and they had a really good game on Wednesday against Turk Telecom.
Yeah,
the Euro Cup.
Cruise through to the quarterfinals. They now head to Romania on Wednesday, Cluj-Napoca to be precise. And that will do it for the third quarter. Manchester struggling against the Newcastle Eagles side in cruise mode. We've got 10 minutes left to play, and we'll have it right after this break.
Cafe Newcastle. All you need to do is log in to the cardholders area in the Newcastle Eagles box office. But tonight is who will be closest to the Eagles net. Ready, steady, shot them ducks. Once you've launched your duck, if you can then move away, let everybody have a chance to launch it. It looks like a red ducky at the moment is closest. Will we have a late runner coming in, flying in? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and time. Your Eagles Side Basketball raffle winners this evening, 479 wins the Eagles Side ball. 128 is the Chucker Duck. 128 wins the meal for two at the Hard Rock Cafe, Newcastle. Fundraisers prize. Raffle ticket 36 to 40 wins the basketball, and 326 to 330 wins the sign hand. All prizes can be collected outside in the foyer. That's duck number one.
Welcome back to Newcastle. Home fans have enjoyed themselves thus far. The team leads by 18, and look, it's felt like Newcastle are basically going to win this game from the second quarter, but if Manchester start off with the first 6 points, they could just make it a little nervy for these fans in the last 7 or 8 minutes.
That's exactly it, and you know, you've seen more weird and wonderful things than that happen in this league before.
I thought for a second that was thrown straight out of bounds, but it was deflected, so it is a Manchester ball. They've only got 3.4 to work with. They don't need much of that for Lewis to get the shot away. Anderson with the offensive rebound. He can't put it back. Tipped about, and eventually the Newcastle Eagles through Spencer come away with it.
Oh, you can't ask the question how Manchester came up empty there.
Yeah. Johnson through the lane, and Johnson will go to the free throw line for the first time today.
Wow.
You don't often get to the fourth quarter without Jordan Johnson having shot some foul shots. .167 free throw attempts this season for Jordan Johnson. That rounds out at 6.7 attempts per game. He is a master at getting to the free throw line.
Yeah. For himself and for his teammates as well. He's given to the free throw for himself, but his penetration is so quick first step. He's got that strength as well, low center of gravity.
There was a game earlier in the season, I forget who it was against, where he had 28 points and no free throws at all. You know me, I was thinking that can't happen. That's got to be some stat to look up. And then I think he got a technical free throw in the last minute or something and completely ruined it. Here's Ossie. Oh, what a block! Stampley with the denial. Manchester eventually scramble it away. It's Harris. Harris, Eurostep in his way. He's blocked by Delpesh.
Oh, blocks all over the place here. This time Malcolm Delpesh tracking back. Larry's doing a great job to pump fake there. Stampley comes across. Fantastic timing from him.
Stampley fakes the three, drives to the rim instead, and he lays it strong in off the glass.
Well, as you say, Dan, 15-point game. A few more stops and scores make things a little bit interesting here and nervy for the Eagles.
Well, a game on last night it was, wasn't it? Sorry, against Sheffield. Again, it was a similar thing. Sheffield didn't quite have as big a lead as Newcastle did, but looked like they were going to win the game all the way through. And then Surrey had a little run at the start of the fourth just to ask a question. Sheffield replied and relatively comfortable down the stretch. But weird things can happen in games like this because you think the pattern is set. Harris, that's a tough shot to knock it down.
Yeah, and someone who doesn't really look to assert himself in this game.
Neighbour trying to move Stampley out of the way, he can't, so he goes to the fall away. Stampley did well, but Austin is there for the offensive rebound. And just one or two nervous noises at the Virtue Motors arena right now. The players look comfortable enough, but those in the stands are just maybe a little bit concerned that it's not, the lead's not gone back out towards closer to 30 than 15, put it that way.
Well, they've seen games go wrong in Virtue Motors Arena, haven't they? You know, that's why this team is 6-6 there so far this year. So they've seen it unravel here. And it does take another level of discipline as well to be able to, you know, close teams out and really, you know, continue to apply intensity, but also make the right decisions when you're up by 20 points.
Yeah. It's a funny old thing, is the sort of psychology of a game when it feels like it's comfortable, and it should be. And look, it still is. But there's just a moment every now and then where you get asked a question. It feels like Newcastle have answered that question, to be fair. Lewis from deep strings it. Nicholas Lewis still asking that question. Wow.
This is the problem for Giants. Never under the floor. They just have not been able to stop Eagles without fouling today.
Well, I suppose you would say you need to get a hand out a little quicker, but most guys don't shoot from there.
No. He has a quick first step as well. So if Jordan Johnson does come up on him closer, then Nicholas Lewis will penetrate and either score the ball himself or dish down to one of his teammates.
Well, probably the most random stat of the game is Larry Austin Jr. right now is a 0 on the plus minus. He's played 20 minutes. And he's done positive things for the team, so it doesn't quite compute to what you... Sometimes the plus minus is a little weird stat. He's +1 now after making that second free throw. Jones. Well, even then he didn't want to shoot. He was trying to dish it off. Burton, not much time to work with here. Delpesh on his back, has to go to the long hook, misses everything. Newcastle come away with it. Back to Johnson. Johnson, 2 feet in the paint, gets his own rebound. Blocked by Roberti. Delpesh. Green tips it home.
Good energy there from Taj Green. At first, he's denied there from Robertin, protecting the paint, but he stays with it. And a nice finish.
Lewis off 1 foot, and he's able to take his tally to 24.
Goodness me, just a natural scorer.
Austin's just going to walk into the 3 there.
Sort of baited him into taking
Yeah,
it, didn't
yeah, he did. Mind you, he is 0 for 4 from behind the arc today, so that might be why. Here he is in transition. This is where he's very effective.
He is indeed. His steals compounding there.
Well, Larry Austin, an all-star performance from him, and the all-star game is just over a week away.
The game of basketball requires a high level of concentration, advanced physical skills, and a deep knowledge of strategy. It's also an unbeatable fun. That's what I'm talking about. Nothing beats unbeatable basketball. Get it, boys. Nothing beats high-flying dunks. Nothing beats three-pointer from deep. Wow! Woo. Nice. Nothing beats selecting your favourite players from the north and south. Nothing beats the best basketball entertainment. Watching the UK's best ballers. The sickest skills in the UK. It's the All-Star Game, baby. Unbeatable All-Stars. March 17th, London Copper Box. Woo!
Well, coming up next weekend, the All-Star Game, Newcastle will be well represented. You can still get your tickets now. Scan the QR code and see Ricky McGill and co. at the Copper Box. And of course, as well as the men's and women's All-Star Game, it's a day full of events, three-point contest, the slam dunk contest. Trying to think what you would be entered into. Ro, do they have a elbow jump shot contest next week? I haven't quite seen the full running order.
They do not. I think they should.
Yeah, they should. And there is, well, there's a man who should be in the three-point contest based on his performance tonight. 6 of 6 from behind the arc. 20 points, his best score in the British Basketball League.
Incredible from Whitfield today. Perfect from the floor.
Burton can't force it home. And Manchester's transition defense is not great, although Anderson gets there. And there he is again, a 7-3.
Wow, Devon Whitfield takes himself to 23 points. I'm almost at a point now, I don't want him to shoot anymore. Let's just keep it perfect.
Well, foul is called. 4:12 on the clock, 96-72. Whitfield shooting the lights out. We'll have the conclusion of this game right after the break. Well, in the last 15 years in the British Basketball League, no player has ever made 7 threes without missing one. Devin Whitfield is 7 for 7 here. There's 13 players have made 6 for 6 in that time scale, including Taj Green, by the way, for the Manchester Giants. But he is 7 for 7 from behind the arc. So hasn't missed a shot from any distance.
Wow. Coach Stoodle, get him out of the game.
Yeah, don't let him ruin the stat. He's trying to get the rebound. Stampley beats him to it.
Oh dear. Dangerous pass.
Morsier for 3 off the mark. Stampley again, he's working hard. Denied by Delpesh. Still can't convert, and eventually Green comes away with it.
They're battling inside. They're both teams.
Thrown away. Lewis, eyes on the rim. Off the mark. Delpesh, top of the key. A shot he's taken a lot of. Newcastle trying to turn the ball over, and eventually it's wrapped up. They will keep possession, but there's only 2.6 on the shot clock. By the way, I mentioned that list of players who've gone 6 for 6 includes Taj Green. Quinn Cooper did it earlier this year for Surrey as well. One Charles Smith in 2008 was 6 for 6 for the Newcastle Eagles. He's the only Eagle to have gone 6 for 6 in that 15-year spell. They're just adjusting the shot clock, so it mustn't have reset correctly, so it's back to 8. Here's Green. He knocks down the corner shot for 3.
Oh, straight off that screen, curled into it. Taj Green likes a shot from beyond the arc.
Lewis into the key. He's good for another 2.
Crafty. Just crafty. Nicholas Lewis has done an excellent job scoring in a number of different ways in this second half in particular. 26 points personal for him.
Whitfield fouled on the drive, but it's on the floor, and it's only the 4th team foul, so it'll be sideline possession. Taj Green will sit down, presumably for the last time, with 2:41 to go. His work probably done for the evening. 13 points, 7 rebounds. Austin drives to the rim, and once again he flexes the muscles as he finishes through the foul and has a bonus free throw coming.
That is tough. In and out dribble there, goes right at Robertson, and Stampley's coming across over to block that shot as well. And we've seen Stampley punch those shots out the air today, but not on that occasion. Larry Austin Jr. finishes.
And Austin will convert that 3-point play. Geordie fans enjoying what they've seen tonight. 100 on the board with still over 2.5 minutes to play. But, starters getting a well-deserved rest at the end of this game. Burton inside, patient with it, eventually took the foul. And once again, we'll go to the free throw line. 12 it'll be free throws in this game for Robertin when he takes these two.
Well, he hasn't been the most efficient in and around the rim, but what he has done a good job at is being big, having his hands ready, and attacking the rim.
And he has shot the free throws well today. That's 8 for 11.
Well above his average.
Yeah. Bearing in mind, in the whole of the rest of the season, he'd only made 9 free throws in total. He was 9 of 33 coming in, and he's 8 for 12 today.
Wow.
That is some improvement. Whitfield penetrates, kicks, Spencer in the corner, and he finishes over Robertson, not easy to do.
Tough finish, and Spencer, another player that Coach Du will want to get incorporated in with a rotation.
Anderson for 3 off the mark. Samley's got a little hold of Spencer there. And they are over the limit. Oh, in fact, so it is, yeah, sorry, it is the long walk down for 2 free throws.
All the way down to the bonus line.
First free throw, good for Spencer. The Newcastle lead out to 30 now. And you think at one stage at the start of the fourth, it was trending downwards. They'd got it to, I think it was about 13, 14 points, and it felt like maybe Manchester might be able to get it to single figures, but Newcastle quickly quelled that thought.
Yeah, I think it was much to do with Newcastle losing focus for periods in games as it was the immense pressure from Giants, as Stampley does a really good job there of turnaround jump shot. You see little bits of quality from Stampley, don't you, in the games?
Spencer going to fire up the 3. He's going to knock it down now as well. That is the 16th made 3 from the Newcastle Eagles. They're 50% from behind the arc. I'm not sure that foul's entirely necessary with 1:15 to go.
None of these fouls are necessary, Dan.
That's true, yeah.
Goodness me.
Yeah. Lewis from miles out again, not this time. Rebound, Ward Hibbett. We're trying to get Candy open. Then when he did get open in the corner, Ward Hibbett shot it himself.
Little decoy.
Give it to the youngster. Let him get his shots up. That's my take on every time he's out on the floor. There he is, ripping a ball away. Spencer, he wants to get his shots away. And that will probably be the last shot for the Newcastle Eagles. So that perfect streak of 7 of 7 from Whitfield, 8 from 8 from the floor is going to finish that way. And the Newcastle Eagles, a dominant display here, highlighted by some stunning shooting from Devon Whitfield.
Oh, he was excellent. And I felt Newcastle Eagles started this game off really positively, and they've had contributions from almost everyone who stepped on the floor. Candy was the only one who wasn't able to get on the score sheet, but it was Devon Whitfield that led from the front. A perfect game from him. 23 points in just 24 minutes.
Well, 23 points in 8 shots. You don't get much more efficient than that. I'm assuming he's your player of the game, Ant.
He is indeed. You know, there's been some solid contributions from guys in Eagles shirt today. Larry Austin Jr. was solid, Jordan Johnson, but it's Devin Whitfield who steals the show, the star of the hour. He was excellent in ready to catch and shoot and knocks him down.
Well, the last category is kind of overshadowed the fact that he got 7 rebounds and 6 assists as well. I mean, you take away 7 of 7 threes, that's a stunning stat line.
Excellent, 33 index, and you know, maybe this is the type of game that makes him explode, because when you look at his resume, he's a player that has consistently produced wherever he's been. College, he was a 19 points per game type of guy. He's been able to translate that into the pro game as well in Denmark. So, you know, Whitfield could be a player here now. Business end of the season, leading into the playoffs, could be pivotal in Newcastle Eagles' destiny.
Well, I'm sure they will hope this is a sign of what is to come. And obviously, we wish them well in their journey to Denmark in the midweek, trying to overturn that slender deficit from the first leg, and Mark Schutel will go there buoyed by this performance today.
I think so. This is what you'd want in preparation. You know, no one is hurt. I think everyone's feeling pretty good about themselves. Confidence relatively high. And then you saw things today as well. Extra passes. We saw a lot of selfless play from key guys. You know, like Ricky McGill, Jordan Johnson, making those extra little plays to get their teammates involved. So pretty positive in terms of the observations I've seen from this Eagles squad here today.
Well, I think they're giving Candy a little stick for not getting on the scoreboard there. Let's have a look at the numbers from today's game. You've got to pass him the ball so he can shoot it. And Newcastle certainly shot it well. 50% from three-point range, 51% from two-point range, and that adds up to a big number on the board at 109.
Oh, I know you're a numbers in the box type of guy, Dan, and the numbers don't lie. 50% from the three-point line, and Manchester Giants coming into this was they had the worst defending record against the three-point line, and this is compounded today because Newcastle Eagles were ready to shoot the ball, but it was just one of those things I think with Giants as well, the errors that they made early, they were just again compounded by the Newcastle's ability to just get out on the open floor. 16 turnovers, not as bad as it could have been worse, but still not great.
Well, you mentioned that statistic is obviously going up at 50%. And really, Manchester gave up too many good shots in the first quarter for the Newcastle Eagles. And that was, they didn't take advantage of it, but it got them in a rhythm that when the second quarter rolled around, those shots started to drop and they just pulled away.
Yeah, rhythm and confidence, those are two very, very important ingredients when you're a professional basketball player. So if you give a good team those two things early, you're in trouble.
Well, let's have a look at all of the results and fixtures this week in the British Basketball League. Sheffield winning, Newcastle a big win here, and London trailing Caledonia. There's about 5 minutes to go in that one. One game tomorrow, Cheshire at home against Plymouth. That's a 5 p.m. tip-off on the YouTube channel, and then a double-header on Sunday. Bristol against Leicester tips off at 2. Eagles back in action on the road this time against Caledonia. 5 p.m. tip-off for that one before they can turn their attentions fully on to that trip to Denmark in the midweek. Let's have a look at the standings, and with 15 wins, Newcastle now move above Leicester into 4th, and that puts both Leicester and Newcastle into the playoffs, and Manchester's hopes hanging by a thread. But into the playoffs is not the end destination for the Newcastle Eagles. They'll be looking at it now. Can they catch the Caledonia Gladiators above them in 3rd?
Of course, you know, they'll be trying to finish as high as possible. Of course, the highest seed gets the advantage when you come into playoffs basketball. So, yeah, the goal is to get as high as possible.
Well, it's a great performance for the Newcastle Eagles. They've won comfortably against the Manchester Giants. We'll see you again very soon. Goodbye.